If you're following along with this little off-grid living and homesteading paint by numbers whirligig we got going on here, then you have already handled the security of your property, the fire safety on your property. You've even developed a little bit of income that you can make from your property so that you can keep going on this project. But at this point in your off-grid living and homesteading adventure, you might feel a little beat up. Up until this point, it's all been super hard work, long hours, no breaks, just doing stuff constantly in the heat, sweating, and bleeding for this place. But you're in luck, because this is where things change a little bit. And I believe this is the point where it starts to get a little bit fun. So what comes next? Well, let's talk about it. Now, you may be questioning why you're putting yourself through all of this hard work, these long days, what it is that you're even trying to accomplish out here, and I think that's normal. But what you may not have considered yet is that the pace at which you do all of these things is completely under your control. And that, by far, was the hardest thing for me to adjust to when we first got out here. I wanted to move a mile a minute constantly, go, 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 always be filling every minute with doing something, and trying to, even needing to maintain that pace, like drove me to the brink several times. And the worst part about it was the amount of stress that that put on Carrie, who I believe now had the right idea from the beginning. This is the point in your adventure that you should really consider just slowing down. Spend a couple of weeks doing nothing but those things that you absolutely have to do. Relax, explore your property, find all of the best spots, enjoy the quiet, and decompress from a lifetime of having to be somewhere, having to do something. Adjust to becoming the master of your own fate. I remember one of these episodes where I got so frustrated trying to force things to be a way that they didn't really need to be. I got very upset, and Carrie, very rightly, sent me on a walk in the woods, and I came across this rock outcropping. I sat up on top of it, and I started staring off into the middle distance. It was so loud inside my head, thinking about all the things that were upsetting me, all my doubts, my inabilities, the things that I thought I was failing at, the past, the future, and what at the time I considered was my complete inability to get us there. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a bird take off from the top of one of those trees over there and start flying. It was so quiet here where I was sitting that I could actually hear the sound of the bird's wings flapping from 50 yards away. It was then that I realized that if I was listening to all that chatter in my head, surrounded by a deafening silence, well, where was all that chatter coming from? If you are very lucky, you may have experienced the unbelievable feeling that comes along with getting a little bit of a break from all the noise up here. If at this point in your off-grid living and homesteading adventure, you just take a little time to relax, time to heal, well, that'll be about the point when all the doubts that you have about why you're doing all of this hard work and what you're trying to accomplish out here will just sort of melt away. And the benefit of that is that you realize that most of the resistance that you were encountering wasn't coming from out there, it was coming from up here. The journey that you're on is going to have as its destination more than, at least in your current state, you could even imagine. I get told all the time in our live streams that we do every Wednesday and Saturday how calm, at peace, and happy we seem to be living this lifestyle. I can assure you of two things. One, it wasn't always that way. And two, that peace was hard won. We make these videos in the hopes that we can make the trip just a little easier on you. And if there is some way that we can help to get you to your own rock, where you're listening to the sound of the wings flapping of your own bird, then all the work that we put into these videos will have been worth it, at least to me. The next video is going to be on creating the creature comforts that, for some reason, people seem to think you can't have living this way. But you can. And that'll be fun. So I hope you'll join us for that. And by the way, if you haven't seen the earlier videos in this series, I put together a playlist that you can find either right here or on my profile. It's called What Systems, What Order? And please take the fire safety video seriously. I've now watched 3 different videos of people who have either had a fire run through their property or start on their property, and I don't care what kind of silver lining you're looking for. A fire that burns up 1,000+ acres, putting you, your neighbors, all of your hard work and all of theirs at risk is not a blessing in disguise, regardless of how much work it saves you. I'll see you next time. You see, I was in a hurry to get things done. Oh, rush and rush until life's no fun. Like the wind, for example. It just wants to kick up every time I start saying a line.